A church building, church house, or simply church, is a building used for Christian worship services and other Christian religious activities. The term is used to refer to the physical buildings where Christians worship and also to refer to the community of Christians. Sometimes it is used as an analogy for the buildings of other religions. In traditional Christian architecture, the plan view of a church often forms a Christian cross. The center aisle and seating representing the vertical beam with the bummer and altar forming the horizontal towers or domes may inspire contemplation of the heavens. Modern churches have a variety of architectural styles and layouts. Some buildings designed for other purposes have been converted to churches, while many original church buildings have been put to other uses. The earliest identified Christian church building is a house church founded between 233 and 256. From the 11th through the 14th centuries, there was a wave of church construction in Western Europe. A cathedral is a church building housing a cathedra, the seat or throne of a presiding bishop. In Greek, the adjective kyriakos, on, or kyriake proseuche, in standard Greek usage, the older word ecclesia. This usage was also retained in Latin and the languages derived from Latin. In the Germanic and some Slavic languages, the word kyriakos, on was adopted instead and derivatives formed thereof. In Old English, the sequence of derivation started as chiris, then Middle English churche, and eventually church in its current pronunciation. German Kirche, Scots Kirk, Russian Cerkov, Serbo-Croatian Crkva, etc. are all similarly derived. According to the New Testament, the earliest Christians did not build church buildings. Instead, they gathered in homes. The Dura Europos Church, founded between 233 and 256. In the second half of the 3rd century AD, the first purpose-built halls for Christian worship began to be constructed. Although many of these were destroyed early in the next century during the Diocletianic persecution, even larger and more elaborate church buildings began to appear during the reign of the Emperor Constantine the Great. From the 11th through the 14th centuries, a wave of cathedral building and construction of smaller parish churches occurred across Western Europe. Besides serving as a place of worship, the cathedral or parish church was frequently employed as a general gathering place by the communities in which they were located, hosting such events as guild meetings, banquets, mystery plays, and fairs. Church grounds and buildings were also used for the threshing and storage of grain. Between 1000 and 1200, the Romanesque style became popular across Europe. While the term Romanesque refers to the tradition of Roman architecture, the trend in fact appeared throughout Western and Central Europe. The Romanesque style is defined by large and bulky edifices that are typically made up of simple, compact, sparsely decorated geometric structures. Frequent features of the Romanesque church include circular arches, round or octagonal towers and cushioned capitals on pillars. In the early Romanesque era, coffering on the ceiling was fashionable, while later in the same era, groined vault gained popularity. Interiors widened and the motifs of sculptures took on more epic traits and themes. The Gothic style emerged around 1140 in Ile-de-France and subsequently spread throughout Europe. Gothic churches lost the compact qualities of the Romanesque era and decorations often contained symbolic and allegorical features. The first pointed arches, rib vaults and buttresses began to appear, all possessing geometric properties that reduced the need for large, rigid walls to ensure structural stability. This also permitted the size of windows to increase, producing brighter and lighter interiors. Nave ceilings became higher and pillars and steeples grew taller. Many architects used these developments to push the limits of structural possibility, an inclination which resulted in the collapse of several towers possessing designs that had unwittingly exceeded the boundaries of soundness. In Germany, the Netherlands, and Spain, it became popular to build hall churches, a style in which every vault would be built to the same height. Gothic cathedrals were lavishly designed, as in the Romanesque era, and many share Romanesque traits. However, several also exhibit unprecedented degrees of detail and complexity in decoration. the Notre Dame de Paris and Notre Dame de Reims in France, as well as the San Francesco d'Assisi in Palermo, and the Salisbury Cathedral and Wool Church in England demonstrate the elaborate stylings characteristic of Gothic cathedrals. Some of the most well-known Gothic churches remained unfinished for centuries after the Gothic style fell out of popularity. The construction of the Cologne Cathedral, which was begun in 1248, halted in 1473, and not resumed until 1842 is one such example.